Shalom, shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off this video by giving all honor, praises, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Achakadash. Double honors to my teachers, the elder apostles, and elder bishops of Great Millstone, teaching and ruling well. Peace, salutations, and blessings unto the hopeful elect of the house of Israel. Lord willing, this will be an edifying lesson. Alright? And it's pertaining to how the fear of the Lord is a defense mechanism. Alright? Keep us grounded. Alright? Keep us grounded and ultimately refrains us from making bad decisions. Alright? So it says here, Sirach 2, in verse 15, they that fear the Lord will not disobey his word. If you fear the Lord, you will obey. Okay? If you fear the Lord, you will obey. And they that love him will keep his ways. They that fear the Lord will seek that which is well pleasing unto him. How? That we may have a pleasant a walk that in which Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is delighted in. Okay? And that's ultimately by following after the footsteps of Yahushai. Okay? Because the testament of Yahushai is that his walk was pleasing unto the Lord. So by following him, okay? By following him, by imitating Yahushai, you have a better chance of pleasing the Lord. Okay? And again, no one can walk the walk that Yahushai walked. Okay? But just the fact that you try, okay? Just the fact that you put in the effort is good in the sight of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay? You put in the effort and you endure unto the end. Okay? Because again, I'm not saying that as in, oh, I tried 2 years I was in the truth, that's enough. No, man. It's a thing of constant work, a continual effort. Okay? If you're really, because in the definition of the word marriage, okay, the union between Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai and Israel, it has to be continual. It says the definition of marriage is that is preserved by continual intercourse. Okay, continual. So it's not a thing of, okay, I dealt with you today and I'll see you back in 2 months and I'll see you again in. No, it's something that you have to continuously do. Okay, sup with Yahushai. Okay, be in the word. Okay, dealing with Sophia. Okay, it's a constant thing. Even how much more, as it says, what have you done for me today? That's the mindset that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua has. Okay, because you might not make a video every day. That's understandable. Okay, but it's way more than just videos. It's your walk, your talk, your thoughts. Okay, how do you serve Yahweh? Are you even thinking about Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua throughout your day to day? That I watched a video yesterday. Is how do you start your day? As soon as you wake up, do you turn to your phone and start and checking out social media, or you get on your knees and thank Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai for even waking you up? Okay, how do you start your day, man? Okay, you see, it's way more than just doing videos. It's way more than just camp, which those things are truly important for the ministry to wake up the elect. Okay, but it all compasses the ministry. Okay, it's way more than what is on camera. It's off camera too. Okay, as it says, Philippians 2 and verse, let me see, Philippians 2 and 12, to the point, wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only on camera, okay, but not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence. So even when the camera shuts down, or after we say shalom, okay, you see, Are you still a Hebrew Israelite? Are you still a servant of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai? Or are you revert back to your nigger state? to your niggerish behaviors. Okay, once you take off the garment, do you become Tyrone? You see, Zabak is now Tyrone again. Okay, back in the world. You see, right? You see, Saraya, is she now twerking as soon as she dropped the shalom on the comment board? Is she now on the weekend? She's shaking her ass in the club, right? Getting drunk as fuck in the clubs, being out there, being promiscuous. You know, it's way more than just saying. It's about walking the walk. Okay, don't be because as it says, what's that precept? So like, let me finish here. I'll read that again. Philippians 2:12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, okay, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. With fear and trembling. Fear is a part of the defense mechanism. Because if you don't fear, it shows that you don't respect Yahweh B'Ashem Yahushai. Okay? As I mentioned, the relationship between a man and a woman. Okay? Let's go into it. It says here, okay, is it this one? Select it. Give me a second. Here we go. Philippians 5. And I'll start at 32. This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Hamashiach and the church. Okay? Hamashiach and the body. Okay? Yahawashi and the body. Okay? Nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife. Okay? Love your wife. Okay? Treat her, as it says, as the weaker vessel. Okay? Don't teach her an evil lesson against yourself. Okay? Love her. Okay? Keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Make sure she's clothed. Make sure she's fed. Make sure you plow her. You know, make sure you do your marital diligence. Do diligence, man. Okay, your duties as a husband. Okay, you see. So that's how you love your wife, even as himself. Okay, so you because again I believe there's a precept that says, how can a husband hate his wife? Can a man hate himself? You don't hate yourself. Okay? You're not supposed to hate yourself, you know, if you're in the right mind. All right? So again, you're supposed to love your wife, man, as if you were dealing with yourself, because now you're one. You shouldn't want the downfall of your wife. You should want the success of your wife, just as the wife should want the success of her husband. Okay? Because she becomes your helpmeet. Okay? So she's supposed to help you with your endeavors, help you with your business. So if you thrive, she thrives. You become a team. You become one body. Okay? You see? Just as when Yahawashi obtained the victory, okay? Those that are in Yahawashi will also obtain the victory. We are one. Okay? And it says here, and the wife, see that she reverences her husband. So you see the difference? The husband is supposed to love his wife, but the wife is supposed to reverence her husband. Okay, it's not the same. It's not the same energy that's supposed to be towards both individuals. One is supposed to love, one is supposed to reverence. So let's go into the word reverence. Okay, in the Merriam reverence. It says here, to honor or respect, felt or shown. Okay? Profound adoring, awe, respect, the state of being revered, held in one reverence. Okay? It says here, oh, no. Verb. It says here, reverence. Reverence. It says here, reverencing, He says here to adore, to deify, to glorify. When you deify, that means you make him your God. It just as Yahweh Shai is our head, okay, and the head of the woman is her husband, okay. You are, we are, as a husband, you are your wife's God. Okay, you are the mediator for her and the Most High. If she makes a vow, you can disannul it because you have power over your wife. Okay, you see, worship. It says worship. Okay, when she reverences you, that means she has to worship you. She has to be in the state of that woman and coming to America, the first wife. Okay, the one that was hopping on one leg and barking like a dog because the Hakim, okay, that simp, he asked for it, man. Okay, that's the okay. And again, you're not gonna you do what you do, man. You know, but that's the state that a woman should have concerning her husband. Okay, if you know the man is supposed to have the last say, and the woman is supposed to follow. The man is the leader. The woman is supposed to follow her husband's lead. That's how you reverence him. Okay, not by backbiting, not by being a murmurer. Okay, you follow his lead. Okay, you see, that's the dynamic between a husband and a wife. Okay, you see, but in this society, everything's turned upside down. The woman thinks that she's, if not equal, above, superior to the man. Okay, and that's why marriages usually end in divorces in this society, man. Okay, because everything is out of whack. Okay, so it says here, going back, so that's the difference. A man is supposed to love his wife, but the woman, the wife is supposed to worship her husband. Okay, it's not the same thing. She's supposed to worship her husband as if it's a walking God, man. The same way that we see Yahweh Shai, the woman is supposed to see her husband like that. Because, hey, I say it as a man. The woman is going to be saved through childbirth. The woman is going to be saved because of the husband. Okay? You see? Because the Lord, Yahweh, is dealing with men. Okay? The Lord deals with men. Alright? You see? But it might happen that you don't have a husband, or your husband is unbelieving. Okay, but it's everything according to the will of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. You see, that's why I said I speak as a man. Okay, you see. But again, a woman is supposed to worship her husband. You see, you know, because that's the way that's not the way that I intended it to be. It's the way that the Lord intended it to be. That's how He sought it to be right. The relationship, the dynamic between a man and his wife. Okay. So that being said, going back to fear, let's go back to so going back to fear, the same way that a woman is not supposed to disobey her husband, that's the same way that we're supposed to act towards Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai and keep His commandments. And how that fear selected. Yeah. And how that fear will keep you from making decisions that are not conducive for salvation. Shit. Hey, what happened when you walk in the woods, man? Just finished work. I'm not I don't have the proper clothing to be walking through the woods like that. But hey, that's the spirit, man. That's really a different vibe, a different environment to be around the trees, man. It's really rejuvenating, man. Really needed that. Okay, so going back to Sirach 2. Sirach 2 and let's see. Sirach 2 and I'll read 16 again. They that fear the Lord will seek that which is well pleasing unto Him. Just as again bringing it back to that dynamic wife and husband. Okay, you being even a young maid, before she even got to be with her husband, she was groomed to do what is pleasing unto him. Before the father would give the daughter unto her future husband, unto her husband, okay, that daughter, okay, would have been groomed on how to please and how to serve her husband. Okay, that was the ancient way, man. You see, and nowadays you find her at the club, and then 2 months later you marry her, and she's a complete demon. Anyways, you see. But again, hey, a portion of her will fall into a sinner. So, you know, if you're a righteous man, the Lord will give you a woman that you can deal with, at least. You see. So again, it says here, verse 17, they that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts and humble their soul in his sight. Okay, so you fear the Lord, you will humble yourself. Okay, as it says, the Lord, the meek shall inherit the earth, and the Lord resisteth the proud. Okay, you see. So again, through the fear of the Lord, you will do the things that are pleasing unto the Lord, and you will obey. Okay, you see. So it says here, in Baruch 3 and 9, it says, hear Israel, the commandment of life. Give ear to understand wisdom. Okay, so take heed to the commandments. Okay, take heed to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai and his prophets, the man that he sends to warn you of his intentions. Okay, as they said unto Samuel, comest thou peaceably? You should take heed, man, because the words of the prophet are the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay, you see, because we speak thus said the Lord. Okay, and the Lord is going to bring great evils, great judgment in this earth, man, in the days to come. Okay, because of the evils that are being portrayed in this wicked kingdom. All right. So again, it says here, verse 10, how happeneth, Israel, that thou art in thine enemy's land, that thou art waxing old in a strange country, that thou art defiled with the dead. Those other nations that don't know the Lord, how are we defiled with them? How we follow after their customs? Okay, how we become a degenerate plant unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Thou art counted with them that go down into the grave. Okay, that go down into destruction, man. Okay, thou hast forsaken the fountain of wisdom, the fountain of wisdom, because you have disobeyed. The reason why we're catching hell today, the reason why the nations are above us, the reason why we're the first one fired, the last one hired, the reason why we can't sustain ourselves in this wicked kingdom. Okay, the reason why you always have to, the reason why you're the tail and not the head, the reason why you always have to go see your enemies for the want of all things, is because we have forsaken the fountain of wisdom, which is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, through our disobedience. Okay, you see, through our disobedience. All right, so it says here, for if thou hast walked in the way of the Most High, so if you listened, if you obeyed, thou should have dwelt in peace forever. If we obeyed Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, we would have been the head. Okay, the kingdom of the kingdom that David and Solomon had established would have been on top of humanity even unto this day. Okay, they wouldn't have been World War I, World War II. They wouldn't have been the EU. Okay, there wouldn't have been the madness that we see today, man. Okay, at such a level. Okay, because it's because of our sins that the world is in the state that is in today, man. Okay, because the rulers, the princes, have forsaken their power. Therefore, the Lord has exalted a fool and placed him in the seat of authority. Okay, which led the earth into corruption. As it says, the earth is in darkness and the people are in gross darkness because of our mistakes. Okay, but the Lord Yahweh Shai is going to return to put everything back in its right order. Okay, you see, but because of that lack of fear, because of that stubbornness, stiff-neckedness, okay, we have fallen from our position of rulership, okay, and now the heathen rule over us, okay. You see? But if we were to obey Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, who can be against us, man? No one, man. You see? So returning unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, the second covenant being established, okay, we will reign forevermore with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and peace shall increase on the earth. The nations will learn war no more. Why? Because again, we will establish order on the earth according to the law, statutes, and commandments, and there wouldn't be a need for war, for the nations to war anymore, because the rulers are going to be immortal. You see, there's no point of fighting against an immortal being. There's no point. You see? So now imagine a whole nation of a whole nation of gods on earth. Because you have to think about it. It would only take one angel to destroy this earth, man. To destroy the armies of this earth. Yahushua said it himself. I was alone. I threaded alone on the winepress. Okay, Yahushua is going to make a great slaughter. The slain of the Lord shall be many. Okay? And that's just Yahushua himself. But he's bringing his team with him, man. He's bringing the gang with him, man. You see? To make a show of his strength. Okay? To make the nations, to make the world know that they mess with the wrong people, man. Okay? And at that point, after that show of might, after that show of strength, it's going to, how can I say? It's going to take away their will to fight, man. It's going to demoralize them. The nations are going to be demoralized at the sight and power and might of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. When Yahushai pierces the clouds, man. Even to the point where even those that pierce them are going to see him and their heart is going to drop to their ass, man. Okay? They're going to be through, man. You see? And that's the thing that we're waiting for. That's the thing that we're hoping for, man. All right? So again, we understand now through the fear of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, through the licks, through the chastisement, okay, that it's better to fear Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Let me bring that out. It says here, and this is pertaining, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this is pertaining to the woman and the man that commit adultery. Okay? The man and the woman that commit adultery after they receive judgment. It says here, and they that remain shall know after the judgment. Okay? Because again, the adulterer and the adulteress must be brought in the midst of the congregation and must be stoned to death. Okay? That's what happens to those that commit adultery. That's the answer. That's the solution to that problem. Okay? Deletion. Okay? And they that remain, so again, the congregation will see it. Okay? And they that remain shall know that there is nothing better than to fear the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and that there is nothing sweeter than to take heed unto the commandments of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And that's the mentality that the elect, okay, the first fruit, okay, and the great multitude will have when it comes to that salvation, okay, being a part of the marriage of the Lamb, okay, understanding, seeing the downfall of their enemies, seeing the result of Babylon being destroyed with nuclear fire, okay, even the fact that they were delivered because of their faith, okay, they will understand that there is nothing better than to fear Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right, so through fear we can attain life. Okay, through fear, it says what? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, loveth only those that dwell with wisdom. So for you to even obtain the love of the Lord, you have to have that fear. Okay, because again, without that fear, you don't have wisdom. Without wisdom, the Lord is not dealing with you. Okay, you see? As they that find me find life. Okay, you see? So without this knowledge, without that fear, you're gonna be destroyed, man. You see? As it says, the fool, the prudent foreseeth evil. So through that wisdom, he's gonna know that evil is coming. He's gonna hide himself. Okay, but the fool continue and are punished. Okay, the fool, because he doesn't have that knowledge and that fear as that defense mechanism to make him understand that, yo, if I keep going, I'm gonna be destroyed. Okay, the elect and the great multitude, okay, those that the Lord will have mercy on, they will have a sense of, they will have that fear in them, the fear of the Lord that will lead them to obtain the mercy of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai in the time of evil. All right, so Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Until next lesson, shalom, 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 Shabbat shalom. Until next lesson, shalom.